Hello and welcome to Between Ends, the Bowl Show on BVTV. I'm Jimmy Whitehead, Mental Competitions Manager at Bowls Victoria, and I'm joined as always by Joshy Thornton. Josh, how you doing, mate?
Good, Jimmy. Yeah, another week in bowls, another regional guest coming along and having a chat to us, and just talking all things pennant and bowls throughout the state. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. I know we filmed this a couple of days in advance, but I think England are probably 200 runs ahead by now in the cricket. Hopefully, anyway, we'll see how we go from there.
We can have another
On to,
side bet. We can have another side bet, Jimmy, if you want. I mean, the tipping one, you're in front at the moment. I still think I'm going to get you by the end of the year. But if you want to have an Ashes bet, double or nothing, I am very confident about where we're going to go with that one.
as long as we're not 5 down in the first session, mate, which I feel we could be, then I'll join you in a bet. Let me just ride the first session and we'll go from there. Mate, an interesting week in Premier League last weekend. The 5 home sides took the win. Probably a couple we definitely didn't pick. Any standout performances for you, mate?
Yeah, look, I thought the Clayton win was a very good win over Deer Park. Very impressive MCC. I had some intel from Brody Archer, who's playing at Bundoora this year. Obviously, lives up this way. He said the greens are very quick, and maybe Bundoora didn't handle them as well as they could have. And they were 2 very good wins, you know. It probably does happen more often than not. We always talk about home green advantage and knowing your greens, and obviously it stood out last week.
So all the people that have called me and told me the pre-game practice is taking away home green advantage, what are you on about? On to this week, mate. Our first game is Lilydale versus Altona. Where's your tip going on this one?
Yeah, look, this is an interesting one. Obviously, Lilydale yet to score a win for the year. And again, I sound like a broken record at times. I reckon if they're going to get their games, they're going to have to get them at home. Altona's been very stiff in 2 of the games that we've obviously streamed and probably had every chance to win both of them. And due to good bowls, maybe a bit of good luck in fortune in certain circumstances, they've gone down in both those close matches. But I'm going to give the edge Altona and tip them over Lilydale.
Altona are stressing me out, to be honest. They could quite easily be close to 4 wins at the moment. They've lost 2 games on the last end. They've beaten Melbourne on the last end. Like they don't know how to play a quiet game. I know Clayton, they were pretty stiff to lose that game as well. So I've spoken to Lilydale this week. They're pumped. They were quite happy with the result at Melbourne last week to stick within 20 of them. I thought that could have blown out. They did well to stick within 20. They're fairly confident of their chances this week. This is probably the most on the fence game I've been with this season, but I'll go Altona just with their star factor they've got at the back end and to stitch you up. Croydon MCC next. I'll pick my tip on this one first. I'm going to go with MCC. I was extremely impressed with that win against Bundoora last week. The margin of the win, taking players like Corey Wedlock, Gary Kelly out the game is fantastic for them. It's a huge bounce back after a loss at Deer Park as well. I'm very impressed with that win by MCC. I think they'll follow it up this week at Croydon.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be the same. This was probably my easiest selection. Now, that could come back and throw egg in my face after the weekend's results, but I feel that MCC is too strong for Croydon and we'll get the win there.
Yeah, Bundy versus Clayton up next. Clayton's starting to find a bit of form. Good win against Deer Park. It was a close one. Spoken to Deer Park, they said Clayton with a better side overall that day. Bundoora coming off a loss. I don't know, we didn't tip that loss coming last week. Be interesting to see if the Flyers are in again this week. I think they will be. I'm probably going to only very slightly lean towards Bundoora on this one.
Yeah, this one could go either way. I did tip both these sides to make finals, and look, obviously with the way the ladder's shaping up at the moment, 5 teams all on 3 wins and 1 loss. It's very even up the top at the competition. I just think I'm going to give the edge to Bundoora RSL at home. They haven't looked like losing at home yet, but from the scores that I've seen so far, so I think they'll get the chocolates over Clayton.
All right, so it's 3. We've tipped the same way, Josh. I can guarantee this one's going the opposite way. We've already had a chat this morning. Deer Park versus Melbourne, 1v4, huge game. Could go either way. I've got full confidence in the lads from Melbourne. I think they'll be fired up for this one. It's probably a little bit of niggle with a couple of the Melbourne players going back to the old club at Deer Park. Although faces have changed, I'm sure it'll be a lot less tense than the games that I played in against Deer Park last year. I'll go Melbourne in a very close one.
Yep. Look, you're right. We are on different sides of the fence with this one. I think Deer Park will bounce back. They're probably very disappointed with their loss. They subtly changed a couple of their rinks last week, and it didn't come to fruition. But I think they'll probably end up going with sticking with them and look to the future and bounce back. But again, this is my preview of the grand final. This is where I anticipate where the season's going to unfold to, and it'll be a great match regardless of the result.
Yeah, I agree. And then our stream game for the week, mate, 4 p.m. Saturday, Yarraville Footscray at home to Mentone. We got a good look at Mentone last week. I was blown away by their win, really. It's a fantastic win to take down that Altona side. Yarraville Footscray with their own convincing win last week. Taking a look at the rinks this week, we've got Winston Brackley up against Brad Foote. Brad Foote coming off a good win against Benny Twist last week. Winston finding his owners sort of skipping in Premier League. Next up is Nelson Ball versus Tony Wood. Another close contest in that rink. I know Nelson's rink are sort of just nudging ahead. I think they might slightly be up on the wins. Brett Mahoney Pidge against Dan Rushton. From all accounts, I didn't watch the full stream last week, but Dan had a real good game at 3 to Michael Wilkes. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Then our streamed rink will be the old Wiley Maestro Wayne Roberts going up against Ash Rowan. Where do you see this one going, mate? Where are the pivotal rinks?
Yeah, look, and I know I tipped against Mentone last week, but if I scale my thoughts back to the start of the season, I always said that if they could have every one of their fly-ins, their marquee players play, they're going to be hard to beat, and particularly in the home dunghill, and it come out that way last week. This week they don't have Wilksy, and Wilksy was ultimately probably the star in the end with his last 10 heroics, playing 2 big bowls to get Mentone the win. But I think him not playing this week hurts him. I can see it being a very close match. I sort of skimmed over some of the Mentone Altona match the following morning, and I was very impressed with Dan Rushton's play in the last few ends as well. So I can see him matching up with Pidge well. But I'm going to have to give the edge to Yarraville Footscray based off their form and the fact that they're playing at home. And as last week's results shown, home green advantage is still there.
Yeah, look, I'm regardless of if I'm matching you anyway, I think Yarraville, it was an extremely convincing win last week against Croydon at home. I think having 2 home games in a row like this is beneficial for a side like that. I think they'll get the job done against Mentone. Probably not as convincingly as the Croydon game, but by a margin of sort of 10 to 20, I think. But yeah, look, I wouldn't be completely surprised if Mentone ran them a lot closer than that. So, I look forward to commentating on that game. Yarraville Footscray is close to my house, so I don't have to go too far for this one, which will be great. So just before we kick into the second segment, I just want to thank BCIB, our Metropolitan Pennant partners for this year. For all your insurance needs, contact the Bowling Club specialist, BCIB. And just a quick shout out to a game happening in Bendigo on Friday night this week, Josh. Bendigo East versus South Bendigo, 6 p.m. start, I believe. So get yourself down to Bendigo East to watch some terrific bowls. We've got the Bowls Australia and Bowls Victoria Coach of the Year, Brad Holland, playing in that one. Should be good fun there, Josh.
Yeah, look, it's great to see clubs and areas roll out with different timings of pennant. Traditionally, weekend pennants played on Saturdays. So it's great to see Friday night games. Live streaming is occurring a lot more often around the state. So a lot of clubs, a lot of areas showing some initiative in this space. Yeah,
awesome. All right, join us in segment 2 for a chat with Phil Crowder from the Mornington Peninsula Bowls region. Welcome back. And Josh, we're joined by Phil Crowder, Bowls Operations Manager at Kringle. We get to turn the tables on him today. We've both been a guest on his show, Between the Bays. Phil, how you doing, mate?
I'm very good. And yes, I was thinking that very same thing this morning, actually. It's a totally different feeling. I don't feel in control, Jimmy.
I was thinking on the drive in this morning, I was like, I need to nail this, because Phil's always done a good job when I've been on his show. So I've got some big shoes to live up to. How's things going down in Kringle, mate? You guys are extremely busy. I can see through your Facebook, the streaming that you guys do, and the different events you've got happening there.
Yeah, we've really tried to hit the ground running as far as our new complex is concerned with the dome, Sky Dome as we call it. So a fair bit of marketing. So a fair bit of my job is doing social media, and the mere fact that you've seen it is good. I'm doing my job. So yeah, we are doing live stream. We've actually become more like a corporate partner, we prefer to call it, with the NPBR. And so in doing that, we like to share our new facility with the whole district. And so pretty well all of the state events, the finals, all of those are run at Coringal. And we've been fortunate. We've had 2 BPL qualifiers, and we've also had the Australian indoor qualifiers as well. So, you know, when you start to do that, and with all a winter program, which we never had to do before, I mean, basically we had the grass greens and we shut shop and that was it. So it was actually my busiest time was running a winter program. And we had our big Super League inaugural one, which was, you know, about $6,500 prize money, $4,000 to the first prize winner. And we came up with a different format because of COVID, and it was probably the longest tournament in history. We started it in April and we only finished it about 4 weeks ago. So there you go. We're trying.
Phil, I wanted to touch on the fact that Coringal's hosting the region finals, and you said there's a bit of a partnership. I'd love you to probably just dig a little deeper and tell me how that unfolded, because I think traditionally and predominantly in most regional areas, you know, regional finals might get rotated around different clubs and different venues, et cetera, et cetera. You guys are doing something a little different. Share us a little bit of the background to coming up with you guys hosting everything. Okay,
so yes, they do. They like to share it around. There's no question of doubt about that. The benefit of us having the Dome on the Mornington Peninsula, at present, we're the only one that has an under-roof facility. So the advantage of that, as far as finals is concerned, is that, you know, the finals are guaranteed to be completed. So that helps, you know, as far as that's concerned. But we've actually, you know, sponsored. So we've also put up money. So we're also looking at doing the regional squad, and I designed a new regional shirt as well, which will come out. And I think that when you guys get to see it, and I think you'll be pretty impressed. It's a great shirt. So we're moving ahead as far as that's concerned as well. And another big thing that we're doing is doing a big novice tournament, which is coming up in the new year as well. And it's something that the Past Presidents Association down here ran, but there's really nothing out there for novices. They're sort of pushing out the qualification because of COVID and the delays there, not say for 2 years experience. I think it's closer to 3 years experience, and that'll be open up to people all over Victoria to come and play in, and it'll be a whole day competition as well. So all part and parcel of that. But just going beyond that, we've actually offered them, the NPBR, even to have teams that aren't even at our club to come and do a Friday night. So we're all about sort of trying to promote the game more, which I think is definitely working at the moment with the live streaming, which is, you know, incredibly successful. So yeah, we have a match every week being live streamed under the Dome.
It's awesome, mate. I think there's some fantastic things happening there. I'm a bit concerned even that you're on the design. I've seen some of your designs for shirts in the past, so I'm sure there'll be a colourful animal on there or two. And I'm wondering if you can sneak Josh a game in your novice tournament as well. I'm sure he might go pretty deep in that. How's things tracking with your pennant down there, mate? Coringal on for another clean sweep of midweek and weekend again?
It's Of course, what we've done down here is we've gone from 4 rinks to 3 rinks. So that's a little bit of initiative that the NPBR have gone to. The concept being that similarly with conversations that we had with, say, New South Wales and Queensland, is that it makes the competition stronger. It makes the weaker teams stronger in the sense they're dropping a rink. And that certainly seems to be the case at this stage. In saying that, where Coringal's doing, very well both Saturday and midweek as well. Though we did actually have a loss yesterday down at Somerville.
Who do you see as your main rivals or the teams that beat outside yourselves this year, Phil, in both the weekend and midweek competitions?
Okay, so the other club, fairly near neighbour, would be the Frankston or City of Frankston, but I think they're dropping the city to become the Frankston Bowling Club. They're a big club. They're very well run. and have some nice conversations with them. And of course, they're getting under roof facility in the not too distant future as well. So I'd say they're the main competition. They certainly recruited very well. They got a couple of players from Kooringal, as Kooringal got a couple of players from Frankston and elsewhere. Other ones, some of will always seem to do quite well. Mornington on the beach only came up into Div 1 last year, have done pretty well, and that's where the new format suited them as well. I know when I was at Mount Eliza before I went to Kooringal, we always felt that we were just four good players shy of becoming very, very competitive. So Mount Eliza's in the mix as well. So they're probably the main players at this stage. Rye's pretty strong too.
Yeah, they always go well down there, do Rye. So it's awesome to see. I know we were part of a trial format, Phil, where the morning looking at making even more adjustments to Pennant next year. So we played the 3 rinks of 3 games, 7 ends, one against each rink, and we did a bit of a talk on that on your show. That was something that was positive. It's great to see these initiatives getting airtime down there. So hats off to yourself at Kooringal for helping MPBR facilitate that, and to people like Billy Johnson who and others, Stan Slowinski, who are trying to drive that initiative. It's good to see, mate. Phil, we're gonna tap you up for some Premier League tips now. Regional made a bit of a comeback last week. Brian got a jump on me and Josh. We got 2 wrong. He got 4 correct, so he was picked a point up. So you're going to need to follow in similar vein. I know your tactic was to tip the opposite to me, but I am leading. I don't want to mention that again, but I thought I'd just bring it up. We got Lilydale versus Altona first up, being played at Lilydale. How'd you see that one go, mate?
Interesting. Well, I did very briefly get some sort of information, did some research. Now, apparently Altona's lost a few players, but they've probably lost some matches that they should have won. So I'm going to go Altona.
Yeah, tough one to tip that. Croydon, the new guys against MCC?
MCC.
Yep. Bundoora versus Clayton?
Okay, that's played at Bundoora.
Yep.
I have some friends at Clayton, so I'm going for the Pythons.
Deer Park versus Melbourne? I can almost guarantee I know where you're tipping this one.
So whereabouts is this being played, Jimmy? Is that being played at Deer Park?
It is.
So they're playing on grass, aren't they?
They are now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think with the influx of, the super players coming flying down, I think I have to go for Deer Park.
Fair enough. And then our live stream game from this Saturday afternoon is Yarraville Footscray versus Mentone.
Yarraville.
Fair. I think you might be in with a shot with most of them. Josh, anything else you want to cover off with Phil?
No, I just want to congratulate them on all the innovative things they're doing down there. You've touched on it already, Jimmy. And Phil mentioned it before, the Super League. You got your Twilight Leagues, and I think the region, and obviously in conjunction with Kooringal, are showing some great initiative down there. So hats off to a region that is showing some initiative to try and do some different things and cater for not only their existing bowlers, but some new bowlers as well.
Has anyone ever said you look like Ned Kelly now? Or?
If I have $1 for every time I've heard that around the bowl scene, mate, I wouldn't be working here anymore. But, look, we appreciate your time, Phil. I know you're a busy man down in Kooringal, so thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you later in the season. Don't forget our live stream game Saturday 4 p.m. Yarraville Footscray versus Mentone. You can join that on the Bolswick Facebook page, on the Bolswick website, and it gets put onto YouTube around about Monday afternoon if you want to stream it back after then. Thanks for joining us, gents. We'll be back next week with another regional guest and some more tipping from the Premier League. Have a good week, all.
Thanks, all.
Goodbye.